One of the questions I've been getting recently is, what locations do resorts have that I can get married at? Hold on, I'll go over that in 2 seconds. Hi, I'm Jack with Vacationese. So here's the thing. If you pick the right resort, let's go on the premise we're talking about in this video, resorts in the Caribbean and Mexico. Now, go back to my statement. If you pick the right resort with your travel professional and you tell your travel professional up front, it's one of the things we always ask about, what are your dreams for your destination wedding? If you're going to have a cocktail party, what's the vibe? What type of location? If you're going to have a ceremony, which of course you're going to, what is the vibe you're trying to do for that? What is the location? So look at, and this is good research for you or a good homework assignment for you, put each of the events you want to have, the vibe you want, and a dream location you would like. Okay, now, because every resort is going to have multiple locations. It's also important to me that you find a resort that you can pick the locations. I know you think I'm crazy when I say that, but believe it or not, there are resorts out there that will not allow you to pick them. They will assign them, or maybe 30 or 45 days prior to your wedding, they'll say, here's what's left, which ones do you want? If you pick the right resorts a year and a half, 2 years in advance, you can pick the location, the date, and the time. Okay, so let's go back to my statement. For each location or each resort, they have different locations. In the old days when we started doing this, everybody wanted to be married on the beach. Flip-flop weddings, that was the big thing. Today, very few people want to be married on the beach on the sand. Okay, so let's look at just some of the locations you have available. There are beach locations. If you do want a beach location, you should talk with your travel professional about this, because there are some resorts that may have the beach location that's further north, further south, in a quieter area of the beach, so that you're not in the middle of the crowd. As a client has said to me in the past, I do not want my wedding on YouTube before I put it on YouTube. So if you're a resort and they take the volleyball court away and they set up a gazebo for you, you're going to be in the middle of the action. So my tips on beach weddings are, you want it as late as possible in the day, so less people are on the beach. You want to make sure that resort may have a area that's not in the limelight or in the center of the beach. And then also you want to look at which beach you're on. Because if you're in the Cancun Hotel Zone main beach, you may have jet skiers, parasailers, vendors, people jogging behind you. So again, this is one of the important reasons that you really want to work with a travel professional that knows these resorts and the destinations. So beach location. You can do beach locations for all your events if you want. We do a lot of beach locations for, say, a welcome party in the evening when no one's on the beach. It could be a bonfire, it may be a flip-flop cocktail party, and you can do it for your ceremony, and you can do it for your reception. There are resorts that have rooftops. That's a new trend. I would say probably 6 or 7 years ago, Charisma Resorts was the first one to really have rooftops. And at first, they just added them to existing hotels. They have a hotel that has a rooftop that doesn't have an elevator up there. But now, these days, I'm seeing more and more hotels that are adding rooftop locations. It's 100% private. You have great views, beautiful skies in the evening. If you're up there, you can do receptions, you can do ceremonies, you can do cocktail. So rooftop is actually one of my favorite locations. We see gardens as a really nice thing. A couple of the resorts have orchid gardens, love gardens, trees are all around. And again, when you get into these locations, again, they're typically out of the way, which makes them more private. So again, the gardens. Pool decks. I really like the pool decks. You will not find a pool deck as a location for your ceremony. You will find it in the evening. So what the hotels will do is just clear away all the chairs around the pool. Around 4 or 5 o'clock, they'll start closing off areas where your reception will be held and just move it around. It's beautiful because the lighting is nice. Every now and then I've heard people happen to fall into the pool during a ceremony or a reception or a cocktail party. But it's cement, which is also nice. So you may not need the dance floor. It's outside. It's usually overlooking probably the pool, and there's some garden or trees or even the ocean. The other thing is, for each event, well, primarily for the ceremony, I'll take a step back on this. For the ceremony, we hear a lot, I want to look at the beach or the ocean, but not be on the sand. That's been the thing I've been hearing a lot. And the great thing is resorts have done two things. One is they've built gazebos right before you get to the sand, and some of them actually built gazebos in the sand with a little boardwalk going down. And other resorts, even if they have things in the sand, you can actually pay them and they'll build a boardwalk and they'll put a flooring under where your guests can sit. So the gazebo option, I've seen gazebos that are overlooking the water, I've seen gazebos on the beach, and we've seen gazebos in gardens. Other things we're seeing pretty cool, piers, which again, it gives you the sense of being over the water without being on the sand. There's a couple resorts that have them. Some of the things I've seen, some of the resort with piers are just an open pier, like a fishing pier. They're great. There's a couple other resorts that I think have better jobs, which actually is a pier with glass on the kind of railing as well as a roof. Those are great also. And again, with the piers, you can do receptions, cocktail parties, and ceremonies. Very dramatic having your ceremony on a pier. Now, other things, the newest trend, which started a couple years ago, is over water ceremonies. So some of the resorts are doing this. Some that I know off the top of my head would be Dreams Playa Mujeres, the El Dorado Royale, and Casitas, and I think Azul is doing it, as well as Margaritaville Cap Cana is doing it as well. They will charge you for that. I'm typically seeing $3,000 to $5,000 for them to build the platform. Many of the resorts are adding that option. It gets expensive, but it's definitely very dramatic because you're typically over a water body, whether it's a pool or an area of the ocean, with the ocean in the background. So really cool for a ceremony. So again, you're not limited to certain locations if you pick the right resort. Yes, you can have a location for each event differently. That would be my goal. The other thing is that one last location is what I would say is ballrooms. Most of the resorts will have ballrooms. I think the reason we see ballrooms being used is for larger groups. We have our Indian weddings and Nigerian weddings because they want the air conditioning. We also, with the ballrooms, they typically do not have a curfew. With most outdoor events, they have to be over by 10 or 11 o'clock for noise. So with a ballroom, you don't have that. Now, other than that, there are resorts that have some individual things like Dreams Riviera Cancun has the steps coming from the lobby that people have probably seen. Other resorts, if you look at El Dorado Maroma, which is adults only, also has an overwater wedding with the palafitos. Some other resorts have massage huts over the water. So again, have your dreams. Work with your travel planner to find the perfect resort for you. Don't settle. Resorts have multiple locations, and if you do it far enough in advance, you'll have first choice or maybe second choice in terms of what's available. But I think it's the key that you find what you want for each event versus having it dictated, and you're not stuck with having a ballroom, a lobby, or a wedding on the sand, which is not what most people want. But if you want it, great, but be particular about which beach it's in. So hopefully this is helpful. If you've had a destination wedding, let me know what your locations had, or if you're thinking of planning one, let me know what you're thinking of for your events in the comments. It'd be great to see. Thanks again, and this is Jack with Vacationese.